Hi folks, Pete here from Ashton's Cars. Today showing you around our Vauxhall Ampera. It's a 62 plate Ampera, and to the rest of the world, well, the Americans in particular, this car is actually known as what's called a Chevy Volt. It's an electric hybrid car. It's got a 1.4 petrol engine, but it's also got a plug-in hybrid battery. It can run on either full electric, or using its petrol engine it can generate its own power. Works a little bit different to most hybrids, this car, because the petrol engine more or less works as a generator for the electric one. So it's generally driven by that electric engine 90% of the time. It makes it incredibly efficient. It can do about 55 miles on a charge. So if you plug it in at your house and you're only doing 50 miles a day, you will never use the petrol engine. But you've got the petrol engine there if you need it, and it can literally run indefinitely on petrol. It doesn't run out like a lot of the cars, like the BMW. The engine that's in it is not a range extender. It's purely there to generate. So you can just, at the moment I'm driving it around with petrol in it. The petrol engine's generating electricity, and the electric's driving the car. And I can just keep topping up with petrol. Makes it incredibly efficient. I've done 2 runs on this car, so I'll show you in a minute inside. I've done a run where I was using it with charge, which I was doing 124 miles per gallon, and then I've been driving it around for a few days just on petrol with no electric charge at all, and it's still doing 55 to the gallon. Pretty outstanding. I think it's a pretty good looking car, this. It's quite an underrated vehicle in a sense, because it's a lot more sophisticated, I'm finding, than the Prius, which is the more famous hybrid that you get. I'm finding this a much nicer car to drive, a much nicer design. It's quite long, it's quite low, and it's also quite wide. But that's of course because it's an American design. I particularly like the rear end of the car. We'll just go around there now. It's like a big coupe at the back. Probably the coolest Vauxhall I've ever driven. Nice wheels on it. It's got those high efficiency tyres, as you'd expect on an electric vehicle, but they seem to grip the road pretty well. I like the silver accent trim on this particular one. Yeah, from this sort of angle here, it does look a little bit like the old Nissan 300 ZXs and stuff. It's got a sporty sort of coupe look from the back. This 3/4 view, I think it just looks absolutely stunning. I mean, obviously the black on this car really suits it, and the silver accent trim and those nice wheels, they do tend to show it at its best. Let me just have a quick look inside and I'll show you how it configures inside, because it's a little bit unusual even on the inside. Oh, before I do, let me just show you something. This is the boot, and if you have a look in here, we've got leads there for you to charge it from your house or from one of the charging points. So there's they connect up to what looks like a second fuel filler flap by here. There's a switch for that inside. So you basically connect that up, connect it to your house or to one of the charging points and service stations, car parks that you see cropping up everywhere now. And you know, you can charge the full car up, and then you get about 50 miles of range. It makes it incredibly efficient, incredibly cheap to run, and also it's got no car tax, 0 car tax, and it's ULEZ compliant, so you won't get charged congestion charge for London. Let's have a little look inside now. So I promised you a look inside the car. It's a really modern interior, as you'd expect on an electric car. It's a little bit funky. So we've got the red and black interior trim, and on the doors there. Come into the back of the car, more red and black. I think it looks really funky personally. And we've got like a 2-seater design in the back as well. So it's a 4-seat car, this is. not a 5, okay? We've got an armrest by here. I think that's pretty much fixed. You can, I think, put it up and have a bit more storage space, but why would you want to? There's no extra seat there at all. Cup holders in the back though, and actually plenty of space. It's a luxurious 4-seat car, this is. The main points of interest though are up front here. Let's have a quick look inside. So, in the car, it senses that I've sat on my seat. Straight away I get that. So it's telling me to plug in the charge, but I don't actually need to, because although I've got 0 miles there, if I put it on now, and that's it, it's on. It's completely silent. Let me just turn the fan down. The noisiest thing in here really is the fan, which is absolutely crazy. So, we're running on pure battery power. I can't really take you far because the private land ends just a couple of feet ahead of me, but let me just pull off very quickly. And we drive on full electric power. And if I put it in reverse, we back it up on full electric. Now, because I haven't charged the car, it's going on the engine that the power that I've regenerated there with the brakes and stuff. But I have got a 1.4 litre petrol engine, which when the car needs charge, it can generate enough power to drive this car. And it's pretty quick, surprisingly quick actually. I was really shocked at the performance this car's got. If I've charged the car up at home, I don't even have the engine cutting in at all. But when it does cut in, because it's only cutting in as a generator, it's almost silent. Now, you'll have to excuse that I'm not 100% familiar with all the controls in here yet. I'm getting used to this myself. But there is a thing on here for me to say my energy info. There we go. So, in total I was doing 121 miles per gallon. But more recently, as you can see, I've been using what is blue, which is petrol, to generate my electric. And I've been averaging 54.2 miles per gallon. That's still really impressive stuff in the real world. I live in the South Wales valleys. We're up and down hills. It's, the roads are stop-start at best. So, to be able to get 55 miles per gallon in the real world, I don't think there's any diesels I even get that out of these days. So that's really, really impressive. But if I was using this car on a daily basis, I'd just charge it up at home, and then I can have infinite miles per gallon, because if I'm only doing 50 miles a day, I'm only ever going to be using electric power, which I'm going to be getting from me home or from the power source I plug it into. The great benefit of this car, if you're looking at electric vehicles, if you're looking at electrics and hybrids, is with the Ampera, you do not have any range anxiety whatsoever, because you can run on pure electric for the journeys you need to, but if you're doing a longer journey, you can just put petrol in it and it'll keep on generating electric for you. It's not going to leave you stranded on the side of the road because you've run out of power. So that gives it a massive advantage to me. It also makes a massive advantage over some of the other plug-in hybrids where they've just got what's called a range extender from a little 600cc engine. This is a proper 1.4 engine that can drive the car. So it's a really good design. I think it's a very underrated car, this. It's very modern. You can see everything's touchscreen in here. If I turn it off, it makes a little noise. I don't know if you can hear that. It's the sound of the future, guys. Weird things that I've got in here that perhaps, are a little bit unusual because of what it is. Well, I've got 2 horns. I've got a little horn on the end of here. All right, I'll just have to turn it back on again to show you this. I only found this out earlier. So now I'm back up and running again. If I press that, it won't do it while I'm still. It does a tiny little beep beep for the cyclists and for pedestrians. And I've got my main horn on here, which obviously is get out of the way. I've got heated seats. I've got air conditioning. I've got everything that I would want in a luxury vehicle. But I've also got the ability to do 120 miles per gallon, which is just insane. I love the little sound effects when it powers up and powers down. So the only way you'd know actually that it was on is that and the dashboard lighting up, because this car itself is completely and utterly silent. I mean, I've just turned the radio. If I put it up again, that's it. It's running, but it's silent. If I put the windows down, Someone there in an old-fashioned diesel. You can hear the birds sing if it wasn't for that clatter of the diesel engines going past me. I think you get the picture. This car's very, very quiet. And if I put it in drive, actually, I wonder if that will work, that little horn. That's it. It's a polite sort of, out the way please, just so you don't run a cyclist over, which is quite handy. Overall, I love this car. I absolutely love it. I'm yet to be 100% convinced on all the electric cars, but if I was buying one now, I'd have this. It's just fantastic. It's got everything I could possibly want. It's got the navigation system on it as well. It's everything on this car is so modern. It feels like you're driving something from the future. Average consumption in the life of the car is over 250 miles per gallon. I don't know if you can see that. 250 plus miles per gallon. That's insane. Whoever owned it obviously was using it a lot of the time on pure electric. So the car's done 129,000 miles, but we can probably assume less than half of that has been done on the petrol engine, and the electric engine's built to last forever. So this is a car that's not just a little bit funky and a little bit different. It's a car that will last a long time because a lot less strain on it. It's not revving its guts out to get you places, because it's generally, even when the petrol is running on petrol, it's only doing 1,000 RPM. It's just idling. It's just generating electricity for the electric motor to push you down the road. So if you want something that's futuristic, but that's not going to be scary futuristic, it's not going to be something that leaves you stranded if you needed to go to Scotland because it can't get that far, buy an Ampera. Definitely. And I didn't think I'd be saying that, because if you told me that I'd fall in love with a Vauxhall electric car, I'd be very, very shocked. I generally like the high performance German bruisers, and this particular thing doesn't configure to that at all. But I can definitely see the sense in this car. I like the fact it's got leather as well, even though it might upset the vegans. I just like absolutely everything about this car. I like the fact it's got cruise, it's got heated seats, it's got air conditioning, it's ice cold. It's very, very futuristic in the way it's designed. They've not been scared to push the boat out a little bit with things. And, you know, that's just absolutely what bioelectric cars should be about. Let me just turn it off again. I love that sound. And I want to just show you before I go that you've got a switch by here for your electric point. So that one there, you press that and it opens that flap on the outside, or should do, if I've done it right. And then there's another switch somewhere which does this one, which is just your conventional petrol flap. I think there's a switch inside for it somewhere. It's also keyless as well. Of course it is, because it's futuristic, so it would be, wouldn't it? And it's got sensors on the front and the rear. Oh, I did do it right, look. I've got my little plug flap open. So connect the plug from the back into that, connect it to your house, leave to charge overnight. You've got free motor in the next morning. How about that? And if that doesn't interest you, I don't know what will. Because performance-wise, this will certainly keep up with anything this sort of size and class on a conventional diesel. It's quieter, it's cleaner, it's more unusual, it's more interesting. What's not to like about that? Why would you buy an Insignia diesel when you can have this? So, if you're interested, if you want some more info on this car, please give me a call. My number is 07932 873 646. If you're looking to part exchange an old-fashioned car, or even a hybrid, we can do that. Please give me a call, I'll value it for you, and we'll work out a deal. And we're happy to deliver this car anywhere in the country, because it's not going to cost us hardly anything to get there. So you let me know where you are. If you're within 150 miles, it's free of charge, and after that it'll still be cheap, because we'll only be charging you for our fuel, which isn't going to be a lot because it's very, very fuel efficient. So, my number one more time is 07932 873 646. I find this car very interesting, and I'm sure there's probably a lot of things that I haven't covered on it. But if you look up Chevy Volt on Wikipedia or anywhere else, it'll tell you a little bit about the cars. They're very, very popular in America. They didn't really catch on over here, but they probably should have, because this car is 9 years old almost, and it still feels like I'm driving the future. So to convince me on it, it has to be good, believe me. So 07932 873 646. Please give us a like, give us a share. Let us know what you think. Do you feel that this is the future? Do you think that naturally aspirated petrol and diesel cars will be here forever? And, you know, the government's got a far-fetched idea by phasing them out. Do you think that's not going to happen? Do you feel that, you know, maybe we should be looking down other avenues? I know a lot of people, you know, feel that electric's not the answer. Let us know what you think. Put some comments in. And there's a Tesla just going past me now. So you can have the same experience as this for about 10 times the price. And it's a lot more boring looking. Or you can have my Ampera. Yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. It'd be really interesting to find out what do you feel is the future of motoring. Is it something like this? Is this the happy compromise? You know, do we need to be looking at pure electric? Or do we need to just bin the whole thing and stick with our V8s? Let us know your thoughts. Give us a like, give us a share. Please feel free to subscribe to us. We'd love you to do that. And tell your friends and family about us. Most of all, look after yourselves. Take care. Hope to see you soon. Thank you.